Hello and welcome to the Full Force Weekly, proudly brought to you by Battle Action Force, the Treasury Editions. I'm your host, Christopher McLeod AKA Diagnostic 80, and joining me on the show today, as always, is the awesome Patrick Notpicard Stewart. In this episode, we bring you all the news from the past week in the world of G.I. Joe. So what is it, Pat?
It's the Full Force Weekly.
Yes, it is. Back in the house. How you doing, buddy?
Doing just fine. I've been quite busy across the last month or so. Like, me not being on the Full Force was also me just not having any time for fun things like G.I. Joe or anything at all.
Yeah, I feel that was the case. I feel like you only get any information or any sort of like updates on what's going on if you're on the show every week.
That does start to happen where I'm a little out of the loop. I've got like a dark space of a month where I'm just going to have to go back and rewatch some things to make sure that I'm all caught up. Because in the future I'll be like, "What? That came out?" And it'll be like, "Yeah, that was in May, Pat."
Yeah, that was in that period of time when we didn't have you on for 3 episodes.
Yeah.
It's been too long, man. Been too long. Hello to everyone in the chat. Hope you're all having a good weekend, Memorial Day weekend in the United States of America. You must be crazy busy, Pat, in that case.
Right. Yeah. It's been the month and leading up to now has been time consuming and a bit physical. Like, I've got a sore neck.
Oh no! Try not to move it.
Just that's what I call it. Kind of like the Keaton Batman neck. You know what I'm talking about?
When you're driving and you go like
that. Just looks around like that.
Yeah, classic. Yeah. I do that all the time. Whenever always the worst. It's on this side usually, and it makes it really difficult to check. And you come in onto the highway.
Yeah.
Any cars come in? Doesn't matter. Let's just go anyway. Anyway. Yes. Sorry to everybody for not being on yesterday. We've just been, quite busy this weekend. And we're coming at you now. So there you go. You get an extra day of rest before we come in. And it just means that although next week's going to be difficult as well, but we'll see. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it, Pat.
Right.
We'll talk about that later. Anyway, how is everyone? Hope you're having a good one. Brilliant. Next, banter. So first things first, we've got some comics news. So let's get stuck into it, shall we? Indeed. We're hitting comics bursts earlier. There you go. So we've got a couple of things to talk about on this one. We have a first look at G.I. Joe 8, something that Pat is officially just going to be sitting out of while I talk about it. And but another little aspect that we got was a fun little Dr. Mindbender update, design update, I should say, sorry, from the one and only Larry Hama himself. So we'll be talking about that with Pat after I've discussed G.I. Joe 8's first look. Now, little bits of spoilers in this one, of course. If you don't want to see what's in the next issue of the G.I. Joe Skybound ongoing, then by all means, bugger off right now, maybe come back later. Bugger off sounds really harsh, doesn't it? But you don't have to literally bugger off. You can just relax, do something else. I don't know, whatever you want. Is Pat going to put his spoiler hat on? Is that what you're about to do?
Oh, maybe I should. Yeah.
I thought that's what you were doing. I thought you were about to put a spoiler hat on so people would know that the spoilers.
Or maybe I was going to bugger off because by the time I get to reading this issue, I will have forgotten everything you just said.
There you go. Pat's spoiler hat is on. Amazing. They're going to see visual spoilers, so it doesn't really matter, but it's still fun.
Yeah.
This works, I guess. Right. So starting off then, we have obviously interiors of the upcoming G.I. Joe 8. And now in when issue 7, I can't even remember what happened in issue 7 now. So I'm probably the worst person to talk about this. But effectively what we're seeing here is some sort of issue going on at the pit. The alarm's going off. You've got Risk and CoverGirl in pursuit of what looks to be a Baroness in hiding. Now, I don't 100% necessarily assume this is the Baroness turning bad finally, and we're getting some sort of, situation developing in that way. This strikes me as probably some sort of bait and switch. I think this is like a training exercise, and that's what I'm going to assume is going on here. But as you can see, the pit's all kicking off, alarms and everything. Like I said, you see Risk and you see CoverGirl kind of like looking or like hunting for somebody, and then the Baroness comes out of nowhere and looks to shoot CoverGirl. But I would say that that's probably, like I just said, a massive bait and switch. I don't expect this to be what's actually happening in the issue. I believe this is like some sort of training exercise, and it'll turn out that, you know, the next page she'll be alive and the Baroness will be like, oh, I won, you couldn't get me, I've got you, sort of thing. So that's what I'm expecting fully there. What do we think in the comments is happening here? Jedi Ben says, got a campfire in front of me and full force. That's insane. That sounds great. Sean says, wondering why I didn't see a video yesterday, and happy Sunday, Joe Bros. Yeah, this is also going to affect our patrons, isn't it? Because I usually do an episode on a Sunday. That might happen later. It also might not. Okay, it might happen the next day. You might get some sort of like Memorial Day special. It just depends on how things go. 610 says, what's up, Pat and Chris? What's up, ladies and gentlemen? What's up yourself, 610? Did you hurt your neck opening the Robo Skull? Pat says, asks RKW.
That's a great question, and no, I did not. Like I said, May was kind of a blackout month for all things that were fun.
That's so harsh, isn't it? Benedict says risk sucks. Lol. Well, we all like and dislike certain characters, I guess. Yeah, probably another fake out from issue 1 is what I'm expecting on that one. I think it's just a little bit of a like, hey, here's a reveal of what's happening in the issue, and it looks really bad, but yeah, it's probably just going to be a chilled thing. Anyway, that's what I'm expecting with this one. The issue will be out fairly soon. I think it's been pushed a week, I want to say, but it should be out, I believe, next week. So I'm excited to read that. I've been genuinely loving the Skybound universe, and I say it every single week. I've talked about it in depth with the Talking Joe guys when we talked about Free Comic Book Day, the Energon special, which if you haven't seen, go check out Talking Joe's channel, because that was a lot of fun. But we also got a crap ton of covers with this one as well. I didn't bother doing all like the close-ups of the covers, Pat, because it gets a little bit ridiculous sometimes. But we have got quite a few for issue 8, including a very cool like crossover Transformers GI Joe cover as well, which is it's nice to see, because we haven't seen like a full-on. It's been a while, actually. Like, I remember like during the IDW sort of revolution period, there was like a load of sort of like double page spread covers of like Transformer GI Joe scenes and things like that. And it looks like we're kind of getting back a little bit into that with it's not a double pager, but it's a pretty cool cover with Prime on there. But in any case, lots of cool covers to choose from. Final order cutoff for GI Joe 8 is, what was it? Yeah, June 18th is actually when they're in stores. So it's actually a little bit later than I suggested. It's actually a number of weeks away. It's actually almost a month away, which is hilarious. And anyway, Bry Bigby says, we need to assign book reports to Pat to get him to read these comics, says Bry. Thank you so much for the super chat, Bry, and I'm sure Pat is down for that. Yeah, mate?
Yeah, I'd love to fit that as well into my time.
Nothing like making something fun either a job or some sort of educational scenario for you, isn't it? Like some sort of study that you have to do. Nothing better than that, is there? Although Pat is very studious when it comes to GI Joe in any case. So
that's probably how I would approach it anyway, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely. So anyway, June 18th, 2025. That's actually a lot further away than I expected, but very excited to see what's going to happen in that issue. And one of the covers has the Baroness walking what looks to be out of GI Joe, kind of like carrying a luggage, or dragging a luggage behind her, sort of with that insinuation that maybe this is the issue, that the Baroness sort of like parts ways with GI Joe. Currently, if Pat wasn't aware of this, she's with GI Joe right now, Pat. Jedi Ben says, I love all of the Blast covers. Yeah, there's a really nice one with Major Blood on this particular a group of issues. That's really nice. Yeah, cool. Okay, anyway, that's that. Let's get into this. Now, Larry Harmer posted this beauty the other day, like in the week, in relation or related to a cover, and of course a few covers actually that came out that show Mindbender in sort of different different gear, different costume that we've never seen before. And it would appear as though Larry posted this is his redesign of Dr. Mindbender, who is now sort of like, what's the word? Kind of like he's been improved by Revanche. So he's got like kind of Revanche updates and all that kind of stuff, as well as being like reverse mutated, which of course that happened in the issue as well.
So retro mutagen ooze mindbender, is that what we have?
This is retro mutagen ooze mindbender, absolutely, Pat. And he basically comes with basically a giant trash throwing ooze throwing from a trash can. I can't even remember what that was called. All I can think of is the toilet taxi, the flush-o-matic, and now I can't think of that one I'm trying to think of from the Turtles that was just a trash can on a catapult. Was it called like a trash
I don't
catapult?
remember that one.
Sewer catapult, something like that. Anyway, yeah, that's what he comes with, mate. Retro mutagen and one of them. Anyway, thoughts?
I think this thing looks amazing. It has such a classic feel.
It does, doesn't it?
For a design to it, and I'm looking at it and being like, "Ooh, that could be like made out of the lower legs of the original Mindbender, and maybe some Viper legs for the upper legs, similar to the second Mindbender."
Yeah.
So there's a lot of just neat things in here. I think that it's interesting that the suspenders are now more like chains.
Yeah.
It's a fun, for sure, a fun design, though I think it's interesting that he calls it a black and red suit, right?
Oh, right, yes. I think so.
No
What happened?
called out.
What I assume happened. Oh, yeah, that's true. Actually, we haven't seen the bottom. I mean, he's got red in the like in the buttons on his like the little thing.
Right, but even the drawing doesn't call out any particular spot for red.
Right? I wonder if like that was the original idea. Is like, I want this to be black and red, and then after being put into the comic and like going over that kind of situation, maybe there's probably more to that story. And yeah,
doesn't have red on the
gauntlets
down the legs or arms, does it?
It could do. So that's a possibility, and it could also have maybe like red boots or something. Do you know what I mean? Like that's his pants or something, or some aspect of his pants could be. Yeah, Bad Wolf Media says, I assume the padded areas on the legs and arms are red. Can't see that in the art. It's a good possibility, and because there are kind of like those padded stripe things that run down the side that you just mentioned as well. I've got a feeling that's a possibility right there. I would also say that it just could have changed. This is a very early concept sketch, isn't it? And all of these, I mean, this is like when we go back, it reminds me so much of those old concept sketches from like Ron Rudat and, all of the kind of people that were working on the old vintage O-ring back in the day. It's got that vibe. And also that it's almost like Larry designed it on a bit of paper from 1980 as well. Like just how old school it looks. I think it's great. But yeah,
I love it. I also love the call out of chrome versus silver,
right?
So that I know as a toy that should be chrome, like Destro's head, but the rest of it can be silver, like Destro's gauntlets.
Absolutely. So anyway, we're getting a slight redesign, which is very cool. And Bad Wolf says, I find it interesting that he has chrome and silver differentiated. Yes, indeed. Get out of my head, Pat, says Bad Wolf Media. Here's a comment from Cobra Emperor 6. He says, the 94 Dr. Mindbender sucked. Do you agree, Pat?
The version 2 Mindbender or the
unreleased, I would imagine, right?
I actually find the unreleased one to be interesting because of the fact that they have, you can see where they removed like the cybernetic implants in Mindbender.
Yeah, with the little scar and everything on.
There's scarring on his head where some of that stuff was said to be cybernetic. So Mindbender finding a way to organically regrow parts of himself and maybe ending up with a big claw hand. I don't mind that one at all. I think it's a neat figure, and it's a shame it didn't come out.
Yeah, I did love that Mindbender, and I was a bit gutted we haven't seen a proper, Oh, he says version 2 93, then not 94. So what about the version 2?
Version 2, I liked it. I do think that it's weird that the art and everything shows the legs from Iron Grenadier.
Yeah.
And then he ended up with the Viper legs. The Viper legs work just fine. But I think that the hoses and stuff that are on him up here would have worked better with the detailing of the Iron Grenadier legs. So,
Absolutely, yeah. I'm not a real hater of any of the Doctor Mindbender figures, to be honest.
yeah,
But you know, each to their own. Um, yeah, the '86 version is phenomenal, though. That is always going to be a beauty. I mean, a topless, but has a cape and a monocle. He looks like a blimmin'. He looks one of those old school like weightlifters from like back in the day at a circus. Like it's just unreal, just
yeah,
how
that's true.
ridiculous he looks.
I wish
Strong
though that
man.
we would still get like the a version of the cape with the clasps that have
Yeah.
part of the cape running down from it.
Yes,
That
that
still has
is.
not been done.
I'm genuinely surprised they never really broached that in the classified figures, the 2 that we've had.
Yeah, me too. Me
I
too.
sort of almost expected the Sunbow sort of clasps in a sense, how how they do kind of tend to look sometimes at the Sunbow cartoon for a bit of inspiration.
Right.
I'm surprised we didn't see that on the classified retro release, just to kind of differentiate it even more.
Yeah.
Probably just a costing thing at the end of the day, but that is a shame. Um, Bad Wolf says, I missed the original classified Mindbender, but looks like Hasbro is shipping the carded version to me next week. Well, congrats. I'm glad you're getting that one, Bad Wolf.
Other than some accessories, I think you're probably going to be in an advantage getting that one anyway.
Yeah, because you've got the cape with the sigil on it as well.
And
And yeah,
almost all of us had the cape bleed the color
that's
onto the
true.
torso.
That's
And
true.
that was a big issue with the first one. So I think if you're going to buy either of them, that second one's the better one.
Yeah, it's nice to have that one in the other one in the box in that beautiful display more than,
Yeah,
yeah.
and like the head with the removable, it had a removable brain, didn't it?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. The little what do you call it? Kind of like the casing. I forget what you call it, like a test tube sort of.
yeah,
Yeah, casing.
uh,
They reused it for the mass device elements basically, and you've got like a hand, a brain, friggin' all sorts of cool stuff. It's nuts.
yeah. There's a lot of cool stuff in there, but overall for the figure, I would go with the second one.
Yeah, and it's cheaper and
Yeah,
more available.
yeah,
Yeah, cool. Anyway, that is a bit of Dr. Mindbender from the great Larry Harmer. Good to see Larry sort of still involved in a design capacity as well, not just in like a, give us the story, but also, this is how I want the figure to look. That's
yeah,
pretty dope.
yeah. No, it's amazing. I love seeing this, and it does make me tempted to you know, partially just to read the comics to like pick out figures that I want to make.
Oh, I could see Super 7 jumping on this one as an O-ring too.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. That'd be good. I would like to see some of that.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. In any case, that is your Dr. Mindbender. That's your comics bit for the day. Let's move on to the next news item, which, if I'm correct, is truly, truly, truly outrageous. Do you like that, Pat?
It's excitement.
I had to be so quick with the graphics. Then I forgot for a second I only have like seconds. I was like, anyway, Gem remastered. Yes, Gem is returning with a remastered 6-track vinyl album and a release on streaming services. Hasbro dropped the news in the week and explained that the original artist who voiced the vocals of Gem, the singing vocals of Gem, Britta Phillips, will be and has done obviously already, I'd imagine, re-recorded not only the original Gem theme but 5 other tracks as well. So we're going to get a vinyl album. And then it will also go up on streaming services when that is released. So I imagine we'll have more information later with regard to when it's coming out, like how much it's going to be, where you can order it from. Now, they've done this in the past. We've had Transformers vinyl very recently. We've had GI Joe vinyl very recently. So it's going to be probably in the very similar scenario, very similar outlet in order to pre-order it and get it. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, these showed up in bookstores as well. The vinyls. There was an exclusive version. I remember ordering it from Barnes. It was a Barnes and Noble exclusive.
I think so. Yeah,
One of the
for
GI Joe ones, yeah, because
yeah,
I
one of the
got
Transformers ones as well.
yeah. So it might be the same thing here. There might be a Gem special one that's got more or different things on it, or just a different cover. I think it was just
Probably
a different
would
cover, wasn't it?
Hasbro Pulse maybe have an exclusive?
Maybe they didn't say anything about that on there, but
Okay.
Michael Gene Fleming says, "What's this icky girl stuff in my GI Joes?" He doesn't mean that. That he is joking. That was a sarcastic comment. I'll tell you why, Michael. Because we bloody love Gem. I still am waiting for the Gem GI Joe crossover fully.
Yeah, me too. It just makes we got her mentioned at least on the San Diego set coming out. And it
Yes,
is nice to see Gem being acknowledged. I don't think that there's any element of Gem that does not fit within the universe of GI Joe at all.
totally.
Like for the
Um,
people that really hate when Transformers show up, do they feel the same way about Gem? Because like the GI Joe universe would have people singing, and like the technology that she has at her hands is not anything beyond stuff that existed in GI Joe.
she's effectively Mask, really. So
Yeah, yeah, a lot of it. Yeah,
Synergy is effectively the computer that deals with picking the team for Mask, right?
right. Yeah,
That would be a cool crossover, wouldn't it? If Synergy turned out to be doing side missions for Mask in there, just to tie in the whole universe. That's actually what I will say. Do you think Skybound are going to jump on this?
oh well, maybe. I mean,
That
it's
would
hard to
be
have a comic book that doesn't have music in it for Gem, but maybe.
that would be amazing. There was an IDW did Gem comic quite a while ago. But yeah.
And
Anyway,
hello to Paul. Paul Balint just said hello, so I wanted to say hello back.
hi guys, hi back, Paul. But you're all over that. That's fine. I'll also say hi. Gem is actually Helix, says Matt. That would be amazing. What a crossover that would be. It's like just starts like flipping around and shooting, like Equilibrium style, like amazing.
I
Yeah,
like this older stuff getting attention. This is the
yeah,
kind of thing that I really love that Hasbro is now looking at doing. I would love it still if they took the voice cast of Transformers and did the Headmasters episodes. Like it doesn't make sense to me that some of that stuff has not happened.
right.
Or
Yeah.
do like an X-Men 97 style other season of GI Joe.
Oh God, yes, please. I think there's definitely obviously there's the Sunbow connection with Gem and Inhumanoids and Transformers and GI Joe and all that kind of stuff. There is a connection there, and we'll call that connection Hector Ramirez. But I think everyone we know it's in the same universe in that particular
Yeah,
vicinity. So I don't think it would be a bad thing to just have that tiny little crossover just to kind of show you that that is also happening in that universe. And it could be something as small as just one person's got it on TV and Gem
right,
is on
exactly.
TV like doing a
Yeah.
performance or something like that, or a music video or something like that would be friggin' amazing. But yeah, Jello Ben says exactly, Pat. I just like the vintage coming back to the forefront again. Gem is fine. Gem
Yep.
is fine. Gem is awesome. And the holograms and the misfits and everything else. I'm really, I don't know. I'm not on my own with this, but I think Gem in the classified series would be phenomenal. That would
I
be good.
I agree. I mean, I did. Is it back behind me? Yeah,
Oh, is she there?
yeah, she's there. I bought the loyal subjects gem. I've not
Brilliant,
opened her yet,
brilliant.
but
I might have to do
yeah,
that.
I think what?
I'm gonna have to do that. I'm gonna have to pick
Yeah,
her up. Yeah.
yeah. It's a good looking figure. I just haven't had time. Uh,
Really? You have
may
all
have
the
mentioned
time.
it. But yeah, no, a gem in a classified style. I think that would be amazing.
Definitely. Zartan, thank you very much for the super chat. We had Gem open for Cold Slither. You should see what they did to the hotel, bunch of maniacs. How funny would an episode of the Sunbow cartoon be if Cold Slither and Gem are booked for a gig or whatever, and it turns out that Gem and the Holograms are the worst hotel guests out of the two bands?
It's got to be the Misfits. The Misfits set them up.
That would be so funny, though, wouldn't it? I love that, Zartan. Thank you so much for the for the super chat. We really appreciate it. Amazing. It would be cool for the gem figures to be like the classified figures instead of being more like Barbies, says G.I. Joe. Shortly, it's your birthday. It'd be cool just to get action figures effectively of
Yeah.
Gem. I was genuinely hoping that we would get Ultimates with Super 7 with Gem, because obviously they released Reaction Gem and as well, and Pizzazz as well, but we didn't quite get to Ultimates with them, and I kind of feel like that would have been so good. I don't think I would have been able to pass on Gem Ultimates. But now we're in a position where I kind of feel like, how good would it be to have classified action figure versions of Gem and the holograms and the Misfits? It would be so good.
I wonder if they could do that as like a convention thing or something more limited
Right.
at first to kind of test the waters on how well it would go.
Yeah, because you could probably get away with like maybe doing a single Gem and a single Pizzazz
Uh-huh.
just to see how it goes. Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
yeah.
Because if you're going to go all in, that would be quite a risk, I think. Like, it's a big set, isn't it?
It
You're
is. Yeah,
talking
there's
what,
a
3,
lot of
4,
characters. Yeah.
5. So you're talking, and one of them sort of has to be, Jericho as well. Like and it's not like
Oh, yeah.
you'd sort of have to do a Jericho at some point, I think. Well,
You
you might
would.
not. You might be able to get away with it,
You
but
could
like
maybe just do Synergy at first, see how
ooh,
that goes.
Synergy would be
Because
wicked.
she would need to be a separate thing anyway, right?
Yeah, yeah. Or that would be the packaging. The packaging would be Synergy would be part of that, and like all of the stage and everything would be really cool. But yeah, I know what you're saying,
Yeah.
dude. What is the trademark issue with the Misfits? Is there one?
I thought there was, yeah. I thought there
Oh,
was.
is it because of the other
The
band called the
the actual
Misfits?
band of the Misfits, I
Yeah,
assume.
yeah, that's probably what it is then. I haven't really been paying attention to that. So yeah, that's interesting. The Misfits rubbing elbows with Cold Slither would be cool, says Paul. Yeah, I agree. Bad Wolf says, I want a new Resolute style animated show, but with the characterizations from Harmer's comics, Scarlet and Snake Eyes, Never Duke. That would be kind of fun too. I mean, there's lots of
Yeah.
different ways, lots of different things you could do with a G.I. Joe animation. And I think trying a few things out wouldn't be a bad idea with G.I. Joe. It needs some sort of media as well as the comics. I know the comics are doing great, but like, I'd love to see some sort of animation. Even if it was just like a Sunbow redo would be fun.
It is weird how well everything is going without that.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's like, let's not ruin this. Let's just keep this how it is. But I don't know. I'd love something. I would love something. White says I would do 2-pack convention exclusive. Would have rooted hair. That would be kind of fun.
Oh, yeah, that could be a good idea too, to do like a rooted hair version and then a non-rooted for
Yeah.
the standard. Yeah, that'd be if they could root the hair for a 6-inch figure. Is that something that we've seen?
Don't think we have yet, have we?
Well, you
Everything's
know what?
been
They've rooted
molded.
hair for 4-inch figures back in the day. So yeah,
Yeah, they could
they
do
did
it
that.
for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I think it'd be kind of fun to be the first figures to do that with. Um, Figure 6-pack says Cold Slither Zorana with the Misfits. That would be kind of fun in all black. Zorana from the SDCC back in the day would be
Oh
so
yeah,
cool with the Misfits.
yeah.
That would be really dope. RKW says, God, bring back the comics news. He's struggling with us talking about Gem. So anyway, just to kind of recap this very quickly, Gem is coming back to our ear holes with a vinyl release, 6-track vinyl release with remastered and re-recorded songs with the original singer Britta Phillips involved as well. And of course, that will all be available on streaming services. We do not have a date yet. I imagine that information will follow shortly or soon. And we will keep you updated when we get that information. Right then, moving on and staying sort of in the well, actually, no, we're coming out of the no, actually, I tell a lie. I forgot to move some things around. Let's just talk Hot Wheels. So professional. The Mattel Hot Wheels G.I. Joe Sky Striker has been showing up for those who pre-ordered, and we got some nice pictures from Matt Slaymaker. So thank you, Matt, for posting or sending me these images, and also probably posting them yourself as well. But yeah, it was cool. So we get to see. This was my first time, I think, seeing the figure or seeing the vehicle out of package, and then
Me
the
too. Yeah.
fact that the wings work too, which is pretty dope. So here she is, the Sky Striker. What are your thoughts, Pat?
I need to make sure that when I make it into a store that I am able to remember to look for this because I did not pre-order. I've cut down on all pre-orders,
Yeah.
and I definitely want one for sure, 100%.
I think when these start showing up, we'll probably have no problem picking them up, like, getting them from stores. I don't think they're going to be like flying off the shelves. I could see this being like a Jada situation again. Like, there'll be like a few of them at some point. There'll be an
Yeah,
opportunity, I think, for us.
yeah, I think you're probably right. A lot of these I think show up a little bit better at Target, I think,
Yes.
and Walmart.
Yes. I agree with
So
that.
the
Then
Target
again,
near me is all torn up. They're remodeling, so
I find that Target's the only place I ever see anything really. And Walmart, I never see anything. Like they haven't had GI Joe anything in there for the longest time in about five of the Walmarts near me. I think that's really just a location situation and the way it's distributed, or maybe even the location I'm in being very competitive. I would say,
as far as the collectors
as far as
picking
GI
stuff
Joe
up,
collectors is
yeah,
concerned, yeah,
which then should mean that they would, counter that by supplying for that demand. But
that's not how
yeah,
it works. You know
near
that
me, I know that there's a Recondo and a Big Boa that have been sitting since the release of Recondo and Big Boa.
bloody
And
hell.
actually, a couple times now, the other one that I passed by on my way to my parents' house, like the Wave of Cobra Commander and Cobra Trooper has
Yeah.
shown up a couple times.
I will say I've seen Cobra Commander a couple of times. One in an independent toy store, which doesn't really count. It is retail, I know, but it's one of those things where it's going to be like $34 rather than the actual retail price. But I have seen it in a Target as well, Cobra Commander, and I was quite surprised the retro one.
Yeah,
And yeah, that wave with well, I think most of the waves do kind of get through some of the targets near me, so that's pretty cool. And of course, GameStops. Although GameStop there seem to be like a real problem getting the Xandar wave, the dial tone, leatherneck, saw viper in GameStops near me. So I don't know, it's kind of like a crapshoot at the moment. Hopefully we will start seeing a little bit more because we're starting to see more retro stuff shipping, which is a good thing. So people are finding them now. They're either getting them from Amazon or they're, finding them in other places and stuff. So yeah, I think we're going to start seeing a few more of those. But as for that wave, the dial tone wave, the leatherneck wave, that might have, pun intended, missed the boat a little bit on that one.
yeah, I don't know that I've seen those at all.
I don't think like dial tone has really made it at all to the US in any way, shape, or form.
No, I don't think
Obviously,
I've seen it.
obviously, like if you've paid a little bit more for it on eBay, yes. But I don't think it's come into like the retail space, has it?
Not that I'm aware of. Not that I'm
Anyway,
aware of.
yeah, no more news as well. We have on that one, Bad Wolf Media. So yeah, dial tone, not a sausage on that one. Anyway, would make a good Christmas cracker toy, says RKW. It bloody well would. Could you put this in my Christmas cracker, please, that I get? Anyway, the wings open, mate. So happy about that?
Yeah, I think that's probably the only real motion that I was expecting from this
Yeah.
one. I wouldn't expect the canopy to open. I think that'd make it too brittle.
Would you expect the little button, the lever to work on the
No,
top there, where we've actually put the wing
not being a
tampons?
redeco of the Top Gun, whatever. No, no. But hopefully I find this soon.
I
I,
love the
I
fact
like all the tampos.
I
It's got
do. I
like
love the fact they've put every tampo on there, including the ones that are literally an instruction for the user of a toy, not something that you would ever see on an actual
right.
real version of a Sky Striker, if that makes sense. A real version of a Sky Striker. I love that they've put that tampo on there. I just think that's a really funny thing to do because when you think about it, it is just an instruction sticker, isn't it? Really,
It is. Yeah, yeah.
love it.
Unless Ace has to get out there and push that every time he goes to land.
Can you just hop out the back and pop the wings open? No, I'm not doing that. What comes first to US, Dial Tone or HasLab Sky Striker? Says SCS Dog. Probably at this rate, um, anything other than Dial Tone at this rate. Anyway, that is the Sky Striker. I'm really excited for this one. I'm going to be looking out for this if ever I'm in any stores for sure in the Hot Wheels section. It's kind of crazy seeing GI Joe stuff with Mattel badges stamped on there, isn't it, mate?
It is, yeah. But it occurred to me that some of this crossover stuff, like when I was looking through some old Toy Fair catalogs, the Hasbro catalog had He-Man stuff in it
Yeah,
because they would do like Presto Magics. No, it wasn't Presto Magics. What was it?
I know what you mean.
It was
Oh
the
God,
color by number or
yes,
something
yes,
like that.
yes, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, some of that stuff did get licensed to each other many, many years ago. It's just they had kind of stopped doing that.
right. It's just in obviously we know that they signed a licensing deal
Yeah,
last year. Now I think it was because it was during the Barbie situation, wasn't it? Doing so well and making so much money.
yeah.
And then off the back of that, Hasbro and Mattel did a licensing agreement whereby they would, be able to release each other's brands, negotiable, of course, with different lines that they do, like obviously Hot Wheels for Mattel. There was Monopoly for Hasbro as well, so they could do Barbie Monopoly and things like that.
Transformers Uno.
Transformers Uno, classic. Um,
Where's
Jedi Ben
GI
said,
Joe Uno?
Yeah, was it? Yeah.
Where is GI
Oh,
Joe Uno?
where is it? That's a
There
very good
should
point.
be a
You
GI Joe
got me
Uno.
excited then. I thought you were saying it was GI Joe, and I'm like, hang on, was it? I
No,
would, no, I'd
I'm
have
saying
known.
where is it? Like
Yeah.
bring that on.
Do you expect more from this particular little Hot Wheels lineup, and what would you expect to see them do?
I fully expect that this is testing the waters, since we talked before about it just being a redeco of the Top Gun one.
Yeah.
Uh, this is them seeing how this will go, or just kind of cashing in on that licensing deal. But I mean, they did a lot with Optimus Prime. They had that San Diego. No, that was on their website. It was available, and it's weird. Those Optimuses, they've done them at retail in two scales. I didn't realize that the one that comes with the trailer is a different size than the one that is available without the trailer, which is just odd. So if they're going to put that much effort into just Optimus Prime, then maybe they can, make us a vamp.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting, this one, because I feel like there might be an element of what more can we repaint. So there might be an element. What have we got in the lineup of Hot Wheels that
Yeah.
will work for GI Joe? But I think there's a lot of stuff, and all the iconic stuff at this point now would be completely new builds, something completely new to introduce to the Hot Wheels line, which wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. I think that'd be kind of cool to see, like an Ore Strike or a Vamp or a Hiss Tank or a Rat. Well, a Rattler you still probably couldn't do either because it's just not. It's not the same as an A10.
It's
So
not. No. You'd have to retool that.
You'd have to change it up a little bit, wouldn't you?
You would.
I could see them redecoing this, though. I could see us getting like a Night Boomer or something like that. I could see that happening. Could you?
Yeah, or maybe just throw a variant out there with black tail fins.
Oh, of course. Yeah, we did talk about this last time, didn't we? The
Maybe.
black tail fin variant could be a really annoying chase that they could throw in there as well.
Yeah.
God, that
Maybe
would be
tint
annoying.
the canopy to make it a little bit more different.
Yeah, there's some options with this one, but I think I'd like to see some more stuff from Hot Wheels. And if this is the only Hot Wheels GI Joe we ever get, so be it. That's a pretty cool thing to have. And yeah, I'm excited to find one in the wild. Right then, next up, then we're actually going backwards because I should have moved this around a little bit. Yeah, we're going backwards from GI Joe into another combined universe brand. Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
It's M.A.S.K. Yes, the law subjects have come up again on the show. We just been talking about Gem, and now we're talking about M.A.S.K. Yes, the law subject revealed a full 360 render for their Switchblade vehicle, including conversion on the actual video. So we see not only the aeroplane, but the also helicopter that it turns into, which is the funniest thing ever for a vehicle to have those two options to change into. It's like I'm gonna turn from a really fast vehicle to a same thing but slower. I love
Yeah,
it.
that is true. And it could have just been a VTOL
Right, right.
and
Literally,
and
let's
landed just fine. But
let's save the research and development on transforming this mid-flight from a plane to a helicopter and vice versa. Let's save that because we already have technology that would make it act like a helicopter. So let's just do that instead. No, no, we've got a better idea. Let's pump billions, because it would have been, into the development of this. How much, all right, seriously, how much real world research and development cash do you think it would take to make the Switchblade in reality?
uh, I don't know because I mean, if you were trying to pinch pennies, which you would while you're doing that, you'd try to make it into like a really mini helicopter, which you could since it's only a one person. All this effort and it's only going to fit
I
one
know
person.
it's there. I love. Do you know what? It's one of the things about Mars though that I absolutely love. But when I think about the practical aspects of it, sometimes it just gives me a headache. But that's what the beauty part of it is, I guess, isn't it? It's like it's a cartoon, it's a kids thing, it's a toy line, it's fun, it's ridiculous. That's the whole point.
Yeah, and you know what else just occurred to me that Mask didn't do that GI Joe did a lot was have spots on there for other figures, and it's probably the conversion is probably the reason because
You'd be chopping
with
legs off all over the
well,
place.
with a helicopter, you always had dudes hanging out on the side.
Yeah.
So, like, can you imagine like a couple of his guys getting on the side and then him just converting to jet mode and then falling right off?
Turning to dust as he speeds up. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why it just absolutely you can't even hang on the side of this thing. So it has to be a one-person vehicle. So,
So
uh,
funny.
yeah, I don't know how much that would cost. I'm not
It'd be
a person who
trillions, wouldn't it? It'd
designs.
be so much money.
It would
Um,
be. It would be
S-
ridiculous.
Soma has said, "Sup, you am I going to do an interview with Atomic Arcade? We are actually trying to get that set up, actually, Soma. So yeah, hopefully we can um, get something going with Atomic Arcade. That's definitely something that in the process that we're trying to get done. So that's our aim. We want to do a chat there. Pat, we didn't really get an opportunity to speak about that. But yeah, the Atomic. Did you see the Atomic Arcade Snake Eyes sort of update with the
I
image?
did not actually, no.
Oh, then in that case, I'll talk to you about it later.
Okay, we'll
Um,
talk later, yeah, because I've genuinely been out of it for a month.
they did like a little teaser where they did like a an image of the render of Snake Eyes from the back and the front, but like a very small section of it.
Okay.
So it's like a really cool looking, crazy, cool thing. Anyway, we'll talk about that on another episode. We'll also probably be talking to Justin Bell about the computer game in the week as well. Fingers crossed we can get that sorted out. Anyway, Bad Wolf Media says the answer to how much question depends on private development versus government military contract. Very good point. I
That
think
is
you'd
a
have
good
to
point.
have all of it to make mask vehicles a thing. Figure Six Pack says the Skystorm X-wing chopper does that. Yeah, I guess it does in a sense, although it doesn't transform from one to the other. It just is one and the one and the same, sort of like an Osprey in that sense. Would you say?
Yeah, and I'm not so sure what the development idea of that was. That actually was something from Popular Mechanics that they based that on, and I
Oh,
thought
the
that it was
Skystorm. Yeah.
yeah, the Skystorm. So I thought that that was more something for um, I can't remember exactly what it is. It's something about the wings. I think it was more originally a wing thing that Hasbro turned into a helicopter thing.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. The other thing that's weird about the Switchblade is that it doesn't look well. I guess that's true of a lot of the vehicles, but like it looks menacing in either mode. It's not like the motorcycle that turns into a helicopter where that the motorcycle is the everyday thing that he's going to be driving around in and looking
More
not menacing or Cliff Dagger's his rhino,
jackhammer.
the jackhammer. That's right. It definitely has the secret mode and the other mode. This one is just kind of like they're both something to be afraid of.
Yeah. I don't get me wrong, by the way, I love Switchblade. I
So
think
do I.
Switchblade is incredible.
The
I think
actual conversion of it
oh
is
It's
satisfying
dude.
whenever the blade like kind of flips up and it slows down where it gets to the peak and then boom. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was fun.
it's great, and it's also really cool design wise. Like it's so
It is.
angular
Yeah.
and like really unique, but familiar at the same time. I don't know. It's got some really cool vibes to it. And here we are. Obviously, here we see it turn into the helicopter, which it kind of looks alien in the helicopter mode to me. It's got that kind of like it's got like little legs, little reverse legs going on,
Yeah, the
and
wings are
everything.
pretty well hidden, though, I think. I will
Yeah,
say that it does a nice job of the wings kind of sweeping back and hiding. It doesn't
yeah.
make them real obvious.
Yeah, and obviously the tail fin flipping all the way around as well, and the what was really cool, I thought, was the propellers. That's not propellers, sorry. Yeah, the blades, how they were designed so that they would kind of like close in, clip, lock in, and then it was all very nice and neat, and a really good way of doing it. And then when you saw it on the cartoon, how it would transform or convert was so cool. Like how it would stop in slow down in the air and just be like, and then
Right.
just off it goes. Yeah, it's really awesome.
Yeah.
Michael Jean Fleming says Lockheed AH-56 Cheyenne. Was that the Skystorm? He said it was. I remember right. The
That's probably
Skystorm
right.
was based on a prototype attack helicopter that was cancelled due to the technology not being there to make it work. That's really cool. What do we feel about TLS mask price points? Let's talk about that, Paul, because I believe it is 100 for the Rhino. I want to say 80 for this. I want to say probably, is it the same or a little bit cheaper for Thunderhawk? And then I think Condor's like 30. I think that's what it's like 30, 70, 80, 100, I think. Something like that. Someone correct me in the comments because I can't remember what John said on that video. But he breaks it down and he said this, and this. And now I do know that Rhino is 100 though, and then everything else kind of comes down after that.
Have they said anything about whether or not we'll be seeing these at retail?
Um, I'm sure it must have been stated. I just can't remember off the top of my head.
Okay.
Cannot remember off the top of my head.
Because this is good. This is kind of turning into a pretty decent sized line.
Yeah,
And I was, Gem was loyal
25.
subjects, and she was a good price and just right there at Walmart in the toy section.
Oh, Paul says, 30, 50, 75, 100. So 30 for Condor, 50 for Thunderhawk, 75 for Switchblade, and 100 for Rhino. Thank you very
Okay.
much, Paul. Appreciate that. And that does ring a bell because I remember the video where John was breaking it down and saying this is going to be this, and this. So yeah, that's cool. Chris G says, can't most of these new mask products still be had for same price as originals? I don't really know about that because the last time I was collecting mask in that sort of vintage period, well, it wasn't long ago, but I was able to kind of pick up, and some of them were expensive, some of them were more expensive than others, and I was aiming for boxed versions of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Bad Wolf says they're trying to keep the prices down and they'll be sturdier and more detailed than the original. Well, that's true because we've already seen the new upgrades and updates that they're introducing to a lot of these as well. Like the Rhino has got like helmet blast effects. It's got a little winch.
I was going to say a winch, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's that little hook and winch thing
Have a
going
few
on.
other details in addition to the originals. Plus, whenever I was looking at the Rhino on eBay, and just around in general, really, it's hard to compare because the condition is not quite the same. For
Yeah,
just a little bit more money than what this would cost,
yeah,
you can get one that's not in perfect condition
yeah.
or is missing a couple pieces that you're going to have to find.
Well, yeah, you could
So,
easily get the originals, I think, still at this
right.
rate. Like you
It,
said,
but
loose, but yeah.
it's very easy to just go on eBay and say, well, they're roughly that price. But then when you really start to break it down,
It's
they're
gonna get
more.
expensive if you
Some of
want
those are more. Yeah.
a nice
And like
perfect
you said,
version.
boxed, then you're dealing with even more money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was the arena I was messing around in for a little while. But it did get me a very cool boxed mask collection, which I'm very proud of. That said, yeah, I think in terms of the price points, it kind of feels like it is what it is and what it's going to be because of the complexity of what they are. They're not easy things to knock up, even if you've got the original blueprints of what you've got and how it works and operates. It's still going to be an expensive production, this one, isn't it? You've got converting parts. You've got to like really kind of improve on a lot of that. All the springs were really like breakable and pretty.
Well, the plastic has all gotten old
fragile.
too.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
a lot of those things, even like the Condor with the, you know, the Condor. Am I getting the names mixed up? The Condor's
the motorcycle. Yeah, that's Brad Turner's.
Those break a lot. You know,
Yeah.
the blades, because it's a living hinge, is what they call it. The plastic is just.
You'll be really impressed. You'll be really impressed with my Condor. It's in immaculate condition, and that was my childhood one.
Oh, really?
I played the crap out of. Yeah, the blade's still in one piece. I can't believe it, honestly.
Wow. No, I've seen a lot of those broken.
I think it's because people will often hyperextend them the other direction as kids.
Okay.
So they're only supposed to go up like 90 degrees.
Yeah,
and then
I have one. I just don't know where it is.
It's probably well, it's probably converted into a motorcycle, so you can't see it, right?
Right. I'm like, that's just a motorcycle.
It's not that. It's the same color, but it's not that. Oh, hang on. No, that's not it. That's a backpack that my Matt Tracker has from the 25th anniversary line. It's not that.
Right. Yeah.
That's an Annihilator backpack. It's a redecoed Annihilator backpack. That's got nothing to do with it. Yeah, Chile was known for having leftover surplus figure 6 pack. Do you remember seeing that picture that came out, Pat, with all those boxed?
I remember, the scramble people were going through to a lot of people just upgraded their M.A.S.K boxed collections at that point. Yeah.
Yeah, I was already out at that point. I was like, I've done the hard work, and then that happens. I'm like, yeah, well, screw it. Loston has asked, hello, Loston. Are they putting the rubber tires on vehicles like Thunderhawk, or are they doing hard plastic? From what I could tell when I held them or was there looking at them at Toy Fair, I feel like they had like definitely not the same rubber, but certainly they weren't completely hard. I feel like there was a little bit of give to them. So it might just be a kind of harder rubber that they were using, or it might have just been like what the models were, made out of to kind of give you the illusion of what's going on. But yeah, the rubber does split, doesn't it, over time as well. That's the other problem with M.A.S.K toys. Anyway, very cool. That means that this week we'll probably see Rhino on the old 360, because we've had Condor, we've had Thunderhawk, and now we've had Switchblade. So it's Rhino next, and we'll be talking about that next week, probably, Pat. Anyway, that's M.A.S.K. Let's move on. I think we've got is that it then at that point? Yeah, I think we're moving into classified to finish us off.
Back to G.I. Joe, yes.
Yeah, now back to G.I. Joe. Should have had the little that actually happened. Anyway, thanks to the wonderful A Shark-Eyed Toy View, we have lots of images of in-hand figures, including Retro Viper. We've got Blimmin Frag Viper, and we've got Breaker, which is Target exclusive and not retro at all, but still sort of in that retro vibe, which is really a head-blowing, annoying situation. So anyway, let's talk about that. We have the Retro Viper. Now, this was, well, Shark-Eyed Toy View did all the video reviews and everything, I should say. These images, though, are not from Adam. These images, I've completely forgotten who posted them now. Now I've got to go check that. But what do you think of the Retro Viper, Pat, while I'm looking that up quickly?
We've gotten a lot of Vipers, so it's hard to there is part of me where it's just hard to get excited about seeing, things inch closer and closer to
Rekship 85
retro. Yeah.
Sorry, Rekship_85 posted these images. Thank you, Rekship.
Okay, but this does look like one to pick up because it looks really good. I don't really have any comments of things that I feel should have been changed, if that makes sense.
Yeah, Liquid Identity says, I pray the hip joints are better than the 3-pack ones.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't really, I never really had any issues like that. I think I'm not sure how it happens, but Pat, you usually get an issue with something, with anything that you buy.
Almost anything I buy, yeah.
And I seem to be fine with mine. So the only issue I've ever had, other than the common sort of basic level of quality where there might be like a wobbly waist or something, because that happened on like the Crimson Bat, for example.
Yeah.
You could hold the top of it and you can just like shake it and the legs
The first
kind of do
Snake
that.
Eyes actually in Classified,
Yeah.
the first retail Snake Eyes, I should say. Oddly, the original Snake Eyes was fine, but a lot of those ones were wobbly.
Yeah. No, I definitely, we've definitely seen that sort of kind of get improved throughout
Right.
lines kind of
We have,
life.
yeah.
But yeah, I agree with you on that one, definitely. Um, yes, Michael Griffin. Sorry, we've kind of talked a little bit about the Snake Eyes game from on the last week's episode, or I did anyway. But we'll be getting really into the AAA game in the week. Myself and Justin Bell will, and Pat and I will talk about that next week for sure. But yeah, in terms of the Viper here, like I would have to say, yeah, I love the color on this one. It's really
Yep.
vibrant. I think like if I'm being really specific, a new head sculpt would have been kind of cool
Yeah, I
for,
was thinking maybe the backpack, a new sculpt for the backpack would have been good.
yeah, but at the end of the day, I think this is a great upgrade for the Viper, and it's very vintage inspired. I'm quite cool. I'm happy with it. It's definitely different enough to get, you know, like people excited, and of course to get another purchase for sure. But yeah, in terms, this isn't the same kind of thing that I feel when I see like the bat, the retro bat, for example. I look at the retro bat and I go, other than deco change, I don't really see the point. You know, like it's cool and all. We've got so many bats. I figured like the first bat kind of does enough as a vintage
Yeah,
looking
yeah.
figure, and I wasn't really, I'm not really that enthused about the new bat. That's all I would say on that one. But there are, and the same goes for things like the eel. I understand why the eel was done as a reissue because they'd sold out of them in the other version. So I get that, and that makes sense. But things like um, you know, the snow serpent not having the actual retro accessories was an issue. This Vipe is obviously different enough. I'm trying to think of any other examples. It's really just the bat, I think. And then a lot of the early retro stuff I wasn't like crazy enthused about. I love the fact that we got that gung ho version, that we got Lady J with new accessories, but I couldn't have really cared less for Destro or Baroness. We had them, like they were fine and perfectly
Yeah.
fine for that situation. I didn't really see the point of Destro and the Baroness in that particular wave.
No, as far as the retro stuff, right? Yeah, I don't know. We've talked about that before, where
Yeah,
if you're going to, if you, they knew that they were going to release that retro Baroness, they probably should have gone with the purple hair from
yeah,
the beginning.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
And
Yeah, I agree with that.
distance the things as much as possible. I realize that there's budget issues where maybe they don't have the money to make a new sculpted head and backpack for Viper, but as far as they can get the retro one from the new one, I think that's just better.
Yeah,
Again, it makes me just feel like I'm inching closer toward this. I
right, right.
have
There'll be another one
distinct,
later. There'll be another
yeah,
one
there
in
could
like
be, there
a
could be,
year's time that's ever so even closer. It's got the backpack
yeah,
now.
yeah, right.
Yeah, cool. Um, Bad Wolf says, I was really looking forward to getting more Vipers to customize into Mercer, but now I don't have to do that. Well, no, because Mercer's coming, isn't he? Um, I will. I'm definitely calling this one out from Loston. That wobbly waist thing is a thing with the second classified Firefly figure. One of the two figures I own even has a bit of a gap at the waistline because it's so loose. I had that issue too with my one. But I think that was an everyone problem as opposed to like an issue that is definitely should be fixed. Like some of the things that Pat would get, and then the fact that the only issue I ever had with classified really, other than the backpacks not fitting, again that's a universal problem, was low lights bipod not being part of his, not being in there, not being in the backpack, not being in the accessories. That's the only thing I've had really in that sense. The backpack is different, says Jeffrey, for this retro Viper.
It's not new though, is it?
I don't
Thought
know.
it was,
I don't
that's not,
recognize it.
what backpack did Recondo come with? Because it doesn't look like a Viper backpack.
It does.
If it isn't, if it is new, I'm thinking that it's designed for somebody else and just being used in advance here.
Right. I
Because it doesn't look like a traditional Viper backpack.
It looks similar to Recondo's, but I don't think it's Recondo's. Oh no, it could be.
Yeah, Out of Shelf Space says
That is 100% Recondo's
it's
backpack.
Recondo's backpack. Yeah,
That is 100%. So you're right, Pat. It was made for somebody else.
yeah. And it would just be nice because the original Viper had like that Cobra logo on the backpack, and it had like that very square look to it. I liked it.
Loston said, I was disappointed that when Classified did their grunt figure, they didn't include a head that had one eye higher than the other with a receding hairline like the version 1 grunts. Amazing. Yeah, everyone's saying it's Recondo's. And Toy Kind of Mood, Travis is in there going, it is Recondo's. Thanks for watching my review, Chris. If you think whether I watch something or not has any bearing on what information stays in my head, then yeah, we can't. I can't explain to you, Travis, how little information stays in here, whether I consume it or not. I did actually see that review as well. I watched it, and also we did I think when we did a weekly, I broke down what you talked about and we showed the images and everything. But yeah, it's so true. I just do not take any information in. Nobody can recall info from me, that's for sure. Yeah, indeed, Travis. Amazing stuff.
I can't remember if this pistol is new.
Oh, let's have a look. No, that's a rifle. That's a pistol. Yeah, this one is weird because I do recognize it, but then when you mentioned it, I was like, I don't know.
Is that new?
Is it new, guys?
Somebody
Let us know in the comments.
In the comments, let me know.
Just let us know, because
the one thing that did occur to me that is not on the Viper, and was it on the other one? Because you know how in the comic book a lot they would appear, maybe they did in the cartoon as well. There's that skull logo on their shoulder that was not on the original figure, and just yet appeared mysteriously several times, to the point where I think probably the original figure was designed with it and that it was probably dropped.
Yeah.
And that's what this makes me think of, is that it's almost like a clever way of still including that skull that would have been on his shoulder. So whether or not it's a reuse that makes sense or it's a new thing.
SCS Dog says repaint of Viper Officer sidearm. So it is. I thought I recognized it. It's really cool though.
It is, yeah. So, but it kind of makes sense to me to have that skull on the figure, just in a more subtle way.
Yeah, totally. Retro Wave made in Vietnam. A lot of whites saying, yeah, you're right. That's written on the card backs, isn't it? So yeah, it looks like that's one of the reasons probably we're getting those retro figures coming out already. The skull on the grip is interesting, says Bad Wolf. Yes, it is. Loston says, and this is just feeding my ego, Chris, loved your Boss Fight Studio promo for the Immortal Champions. Pre-ordered all 3 figures immediately. Thank you very much, Loston. That was a lot of fun to do. Shout out to Boss Fight, and of course,
those are really good looking figures.
They're cool, aren't they?
Those are really good.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun putting that together as well, Loston. So yeah, you'll be seeing a lot more videos in the future, probably with my ugly mug on them as well. Anyway, yeah, cool. All guns in the Viper 3 packs as well. Yeah, so even these ones here as well, which are kind of cool rifles actually. But yeah, they are in both in the 3 pack. Those ones I recognize immediately, but the pistol, yeah, that wasn't one that immediately stuck in my head, but I did sort of remember it. But anyway, moving on. We then have, and this is courtesy of a Shark-Eyed Toy View. So shout out to Adam for this one. Sorry, Alex. Shout out to Adam for this one. We have Breaker, Target exclusive Breaker in hand. This one is kind of exciting for me because I really want this figure really bad, and I'm hoping that did I pre-order this? I feel like I may have pre-ordered this just to make sure. You know, when we're going through that phase of like, I'm just going to get the exclusives as pre-orders to make sure they're locked in.
Yeah,
that's where I am with this, I think, and then everything else is just a free for all, and that's why I don't have dial tone, which really bugs me. But then again, lots of people don't have dial tone, so I'm not going to complain too much. What do you think, Pat? You happy with how he looks? Did you? You probably haven't had an opportunity necessarily to see the review. I'm not going to say. I'm not going to
No, not
force you
really.
to
So I
report.
haven't seen much of this at all, but I like what I'm seeing here for
Do you like?
sure.
Do you like the kebab, the doner kebab meat that he comes with in a glass container? Someone mentioned that to me in the comments on this post, I think it was, and I'm like, I can't unsee that now. That is going to be like some guy slicing off the meat
Yeah,
on the side, sort of thing.
yeah.
Now I have to make some sort of diorama that is the doner meat in. Amazing. Loston says, "Man, I really can't wait to get that Target Breaker. I pre-ordered this one." Destro Design says, "Way late to the party. What's good, y'all? Welcome back, Pat."
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a long time.
It's been a long time. I'd lol so hard if they ever made Snake Eyes long range recon patrol figures in Vietnam. The irony is too rich. That's true, actually, Chris. I never really thought about that. I feel like that's got to happen at some point. The LRRP has got to happen, hasn't it?
Probably. I mean, eventually they'll probably get to that.
I think that's something that needs to be done in O-Ring, personally, as
Yeah.
well.
Well, I mean, they did do it in O-Ring. That's one of the
Oh,
most
of course,
expensive.
duh.
The
The
comic
comic
pack
pack,
for that is
yeah.
ridiculous.
The comic pack's amazing because you got
And
the.
well, they shatter, so be careful if you do just buy those. But
I've got them. Obviously, they're all on comic. They're all in the
yeah,
package. I haven't opened them, but I love
the
the kind of
shadow.
shadow over his
You kind
eyes,
of got a
and
shadow going on right now yourself.
yeah, I'm literally. I didn't need to do that. I just there you go. I'm literally
Yeah,
classified from that set, and also the little picture of his
his sister.
sister
Yeah,
in his hat. Amazing stuff. That was so good, actually. I love that set. In fact, I think I may have put that Snake Eyes figure in my top 10. The one video on on our channel that is doing like 20K or something ridiculous like that. Snake Eyes is always going to be the most popular character, isn't he? Anyway, anywho, that's Target. And then as well, a Shark Eye Toy View has also posted an in-hand review of Frag Viper. So we get some nice shots here of the packaging, of the artwork. The artwork was pretty cool, actually, of the Frag Viper holding a grenade there, about to lug it. It's really hard with that tiny sliver of space to do anything that makes sense. But I feel like this kind of works, like having the higher light, the cesta kind of cutting across a little bit, separating the image a
yeah,
little bit. I think that's kind
yeah,
of cool.
yeah. His grenades reminded me of the Green Goblin.
Yeah, totally. Like little pumpkin grenades or whatever they were.
Yeah,
Or am I thinking that's Hobgoblin, isn't it? Had pumpkin grenades. Green Goblin just had grenades.
yeah. He had the grenade. I'm thinking of the grenades in the Spider-Man movie
Yeah,
specifically.
yeah, big time. What else are we saying in the comments? Diana, hello Diana. She says, on that note, do the mass elements being accessories mean another Hasbro or maybe Super 7 mass device? I don't know. I can't see them doing a mass device. I spoke to Lenny and Tony about this on the last interview, and they said that it would be massive, so probably not. But it's yeah, I guess it's one of those things. We'll have to see. We'll have to wait and see on that. But I don't necessarily think they'll do a full-on mass device personally. Travis says, who else wants to move to Australia to start a YouTube channel? I do. Loston says, Patrick nailed it. Those grenades do have that MCU Green Goblin look. Anyway,
Thank
but
you.
then we have the back of the packaging here showing the Vipers in their sort of Deke animated sort of environment that we see. The only time I think we see the Frag
Oh
Vipers
yeah,
in Operation Dragonfire is in that particular series, and then also in this particular setting as well.
it's easy to forget that they were in the Deke series to me.
Well, yeah, because you blink and you miss them,
Right.
basically. It's funny as well. Like when I did a screenshot of them on the show, it's quite funny. They look very basic because it's like just the kind of block colors and everything. But yeah, it's not surprising they didn't show up more, but the way Deke did throw troop builders into the cartoon, I'm surprised we didn't see them again. If you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
yeah. Anywho. There's the packaging. And then, of course, we have the figure. Now, obviously, this is without gear, without the helmet as well. We've got a nice kind of close-up of that cyborg face, which is utterly terrifying. But yeah, it definitely sends shivers down my spine. Bit RoboCop vibes in it.
Oh yeah, yeah, I see what you mean. With just the face there, it makes you wonder if he had if there's mask there even. You know,
Right.
like does that mask come off, or is he just that's it?
I think he's all robot and they just stuck a fleshy, skinny bit of his face back on the front of it just to make him go, oh, it's a cyborg. It's like, no, it's just a full-on robot with a bit of skin slapped on the front of the head. Because that,
So some scientist wanting to claim credit for actually having made a cyborg just throws
right.
a little skin on a robot and
Oh
says
yeah,
he did it.
we've got the brain bit part of the brain stems in there. It's like, no, it's not, mate. You've literally
Right.
sellotaped a bit of his face onto a metal head. That's all you've done. It does kind of look like there's a clip there, doesn't it, on the side? Do you know what I mean? Like
Oh yeah.
to the
Yeah, on
side
his
of one of
temple.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like I wonder what that little detail is there for. But
Yeah.
anyway, love the brown blue color contrast, says Stanley. Do you know what? I really like the fact we've got like an orangey brown, like a light brown, kind of more, a bit of a brighter brown, and then we've got that kind of dark brown as well as the different blues. There's a lot of like different colors going on there, and I didn't really notice that originally.
I had noticed that. The thing that I'm noticing now is the color of his eyes actually look different to me because they're sort of pinkish here,
Yeah, yeah.
whereas I thought on the back of the box they were just black.
Oh, yeah. They've sort of got like a black outline, haven't they?
Like the whites of his eyes were black, and then with almost like reversed, and then just a little bit of white in there is what I thought it
Yeah,
was in the
that's what it
render.
looks like on the back, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe that's what they were going for. They've also highlighted that little clip as well on the side
yeah,
of
they
on the back
have.
there.
Yeah,
So it is definitely something there. There's definitely a little bit of like little story, a little bit of narrative in there that we're not really aware of just yet. Bad Wolf Media says he's just really stoned, Pat. That's all it is.
could
So
be. Yeah,
he does look a little bit.
you see what I mean, though. He doesn't really
Yeah.
have that look.
Yeah, you'd think it would. Yeah, I totally agree with you. Like it should be kind of all black in the eyes and just a white bit in the middle. But yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know. I kind of like the thought of them using a little bit of color here, like a little bit of kind of pink, because it does signify that there might be a little bit of like, I don't know, like human, not human, but like,
blood rushing through there.
yeah,
Still.
like
Yeah,
or drained a little bit, So
yeah,
it's
like
yeah,
bloodshot eyes.
right. Anyway, it's cool. There's the you can see how the hand fits in the cesta as well, the higher lie cesta. So that actually looks like a nice secure connection, really, because I wasn't really sure how that was going to operate either, because I hadn't looked at it properly.
Right.
So seeing it here it's nice to see that they've gone to that kind of He-Man shield sort of situation.
Yeah, sometimes it's difficult to get the hands on things whenever there's like a shield or something. So hopefully his fingers flex around there pretty easily.
Hopefully that the pincers open up as well, so you can get. I suppose
Yeah,
you can probably push the hand through, but I think you probably have to do is kind of put the hand on the handle and then
and
swing
then
it
spin
round
it.
and then
Yeah,
open the
exactly.
claw
Yeah,
up around the
yeah,
wrist. It'd be interesting to see if you can, it's easier to damage the wrist deco and stuff like that as well. But that looks really cool. And then, of course, we have it connected to the backpack as well. Again, I think it looks amazing. I think this is going to be. I think this is going to be an absolute winner. And then, of course, we have your favorite version there, mate, with the
yeah. With
helmet
the
on.
helmet on. Yeah,
Yeah,
it looks good.
yeah, very good figure indeed. There's another shot of it, and Adam's fingers as well. I'm betting that weapon plastic is fairly soft, says Loston. Yeah, probably the only time people would accept that accessory being
I think it would be better if it
soft.
was for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah,
Imagine if that was the one they decided to make really stiff and like,
and then
like
you'd never get his arm in there. It'd be difficult, or the hose would not want to bend properly.
I wonder if you'd probably have to take the hand off, put the hand on, and then slide the arm through the hole into
Right, you
the
would probably.
yeah.
Yeah,
Brilliant. Loston says the color adds a little life to the face. Yes, that's kind of what I was saying. It's weird. I feel like it adds life, but it also adds more death, if that makes sense. It sort of makes it more cyborgish that it has a bit of color in the eyes rather than just being black and white. Because that would be too robotic, I think. Yeah.
there's something about that. The line, the hose for feeding the grenades, that reminds me of the Sentinels from the Matrix. Do you know
Oh
what I'm talking
yeah,
about?
the
Like
little
the way that it's not just a perfect ring shape going
right.
all the way back. That fact that there's a little bit of a lock in,
Yeah.
almost like a spinal shape to it.
100%. And it's nice that they're going to that level of detail for something as like not really that significant in the grand
Yeah,
scheme of things.
yeah,
They could easily have just done a ridged pipe sort of cable thing,
yep,
and I wouldn't have even batted an eyelid. And yet, you're right, they've gone that extra level, that extra mile, and they've made it. You're right, like the Matrix, like the dreadlocks on those
exactly. Yeah,
spinal
the
columns.
tentacles on those. Yep.
Yeah, there you go, man. Spinal Tap, says Stanley. Phoenix says, no classified mass device is disappointing. I would buy 2 and use one for O-Ring 25th, considering how big it was on the cartoon. I think if they were to do one, Phoenix, that it would have to be, if you're going to do a full scale one, you could probably only do it with the 4-inch scale. And then if you wanted to kind of cheat a little bit, it could work with classified. But yeah, I don't think you're going to be able to get a classified, because also it's just a big box with a massive diamond cannon on it. Really, it's
It
not.
is. Yeah.
It's not like, I
That's
find
how I feel about the BET though as well. It's just a big
yeah,
box with a massive solar panel on it.
yeah. Radar dish and a solar panel. It is a little bit more interesting than a mass device, but they're not far from each other, are they? Really, in terms
Right.
of, I
Yeah.
mean, I think you could get away with a 4-inch BET. That would be fun.
Uh, I've never really been sold, to be honest. Like
Damn it.
I think that you'd have to have the BET designed to be reused as something else to make it worth making.
You could vintage Joe it up, so they could do it so that it transformed a little bit into a vehicle that then had armaments and stuff on it.
Oh
Do
yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
So like sort of like I'm
Like
thinking
something
like
that
in the
folds
battle
out and then a
bunker,
big missile comes out of it to
right?
defend its. Like this
Right.
is the B. Like call it like the BET-2, where they realized, man, we should have given this some defensive capabilities so Philip can't just come
100%.
take it.
100%. Because you could do, yeah, like when I think of like things like Fort America or the battle bunker, and well, not is it what's the one that's like, I forget the name of it now, but it's kind of like slides forward and would take the people that are inside's heads off if it was real. Like it slides back actually, I think, and then opens out, and you've got missiles inside.
You talking about the mobile command center?
No, no, as in
Oh,
it's
the G.I. Joe battle bunker.
it is the battle bunker. Yeah, I thought
Yeah,
it was. So I
yeah,
said battle bunker, but then I was like, that doesn't sound right. No, but it is. Yeah, the battle bunker. That's what I'm thinking of. Something that looks like unassuming, and then you move some parts, and all of a sudden you've got guns and
right.
missiles everywhere. So I think that's something you could do with the BET. You could make it so that the in one mode it was like that, and there's not much difference between the BET and like the Future Fortress sort of design a little bit. There's like a
I don't think. I don't know.
I think there's elements on the Battle Force
The
2000
BET's more
vehicles.
than just like parts of vehicles kind of scattered around.
Maybe it could be the piece that combined the Future Fortress together properly.
Oh, that'd be cool.
There you go.
I'd be down with that.
There you go, mate. There you go. I think that's the thing you have. Someone's mentioned a good thing here. Cobra Emperor 6. Yes, make it make it a base. Make it fold out into some sort of like, yeah, some sort of like actual base for the Joes to operate in. I think that's something that you could definitely do. Bad Wolf says, wouldn't a classified mass device be roughly the size of a recliner? Yep. Roughly, absolutely the size of a recliner. There he is lugging his grenade. And yeah, that's pretty much it, I think. There's a comparison of the flag Viper with the range and of course the alley Viper. It's cool that we're getting these. I'm
I
down.
like seeing those together. I think my favorite of these three is the Range Viper, though.
Oh,
Still,
the range Viper is beautiful. The range
yeah.
Viper is a very awesome, satisfying figure. I agree with you, Pat, on that one. Right then, that is it. We'll move into the listings quickly for Pat. No changes since we last spoke, so it's the same as it was, guys. Same as well for 2026. No changes as yet. We do have Yojo June just around the corner. That's mental. How is it June already? Oh my god! So obviously there's going to be some additions to what we know already, I assume. Like there'll be name onlys that will probably increase a little bit. At the moment, it's just the Sarge and the Renegades that we know are coming as name only reveals, official ones. And of course, digital renders wise, we've got the Ore Striker, we've got the M.A.S.K with Hawk, we've got the Retro Green Shirt, we've got Slice and Dice, Cold Slither, and the Retro Bat. All I would expect to see something maybe of these over Yojo June. I don't know exactly what we're going to be seeing, but fingers crossed. Now, I'll just quick update as well for those that were expecting an interview with the Hasbro guys. We decided to wait till after Yojo June at least. So we'll wait for Yojo June to happen. So we've got so we can get into all the new stuff and talk to Lenny and Tony. I wanted to get them on beforehand, and we had sort of planned to go kind of mid to late May. But then we sort of talked it out, and we decided it would be better to go after the fact. So
there's going to be a bunch of questions after Yojo June.
I know, and it feels weird because I feel like I finally get the interview done following an event, and then another event happens, and it's like, if we'd have just waited a little bit, we could have combined it all together. So we'll probably do that. We'll get a lot more going after Yojo June, probably after SDCC, and then probably after kind of Pulse and all that kind of stuff. It's Mirror Universe Pat, or Tap, as he's known. I like your gem show, but you lose me when you go into these G.I. Joe tangents. Full synergy. Thank you very much, Tap. Very much appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
It's funny, like I do genuinely think people think that we do this. Like we make this and we send ourselves our own super chat. As someone that is
somebody's doing that.
Someone else is doing this, guys. Someone else is Zartan. Someone else is Tap. It's not us. Trust me. We do not have the finances to send ourselves super chats. Pat and I are broke. Okay, we are dead broke. No, I'm just kidding. But I sorry, it's funny. But yeah, anyway, thank you, Tap, whoever you bloody are. And I mean that genuinely. Thank you very much. We really appreciate it. And we appreciate the funny comments as well, because they are really funny. And yeah, there you go. We should do a gem show. I might just do one on the side. Probably get more viewers, more subscribers if I do a gem show. What do you think would have more subscribers, Pat? Gem or Joe?
I hope G.I. Joe. I hope.
It probably is, but
yeah.
There's a Gem Con, so
there is.
But there is a Joe Fest, and there's an AR, and there's multiple G.I. Joe conventions. So I don't know what I'm saying. Like, there's a Gem Con though. Anyway, that's it. That's it for this section of the show. We are now going to move into the shout outs. But before we do, let's have a quick message from our new sponsor. This is the first time Pat's been on.
Okay.
Let's do it. Yes, thank you to Battle Action Force, the deluxe treasury editions, for sponsoring the show. And also, yes, you can get the Battle Action Force deluxe treasury editions from totaltoybooks.com if you're in the UK and Europe, and of course, Skeletron.com if you're in the United States of America. Pat, how exciting is it to be properly sponsored again?
Yeah, that's fun. I can get my treasury editions right there.
There you go. Let's do it. Mine are not around me at the moment, but they're amazing. Go check them out, guys, please, and thank you very much. And yeah, Twisted Kister says, do Pulse members get the extra hour for SDCC exclusives? Do they go up, don't they?
Yeah,
like very shortly after the show, don't they?
Pretty sure we do.
Yeah, and I believe premium members will get that first, I think.
Well, the San Diego exclusives are always weird because there was, I guess maybe I don't know, because there's been like the codes that they've handed out at San Diego that you had to get the 1 year. And then last year, I think that they didn't do the codes and it was just the free for all again, but I can't really remember. That's a good question.
Yeah, well, it's always a little bit like fingers crossed, guys. So yeah, good luck is all I'll say on that one. We'll all be in the same boat, though. I'll tell you that much.
I,
It's
I think the truth is we won't know until they do it this year because they change it up so often.
That's so true, so true. We'll try and get as much information as we can. Do not worry. Any word on CS pricing? Classified, I guess what you mean there, Tony. No, I imagine there's going to be a bump going into Yojo June, but they haven't said, and we're not going to know until we see pre-orders, basically, bud. So fingers crossed. We'll see how it goes, but I imagine there will be a price increase. I'd be surprised if there wasn't one, Pat. Would you?
We were talking about that months ago. Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, it's very likely that that'll happen. Yes, Michael. Yes, Hasbro have handled SDCC differently every single year. Right. Yeah, the code free for all for Mindbender was mental. Anyway, thank you to Battle Action Force Deluxe Treasury Editions. Go check them out, please, and thank you. Also,
Oh yeah,
this is your
articulating
turn.
points. I need to find again. I've not had time for much. Philip put up the last video, and it did quite well. You know, it found its audience, and it was cool. He
Yeah.
dug deep into Rogue, and I like the fact that he uncovered some stuff that may have been not really noticed or not noticed by the mainstream about uh, a significant X-Men character in her significant the way that people think of her, like the costume.
Yeah.
So that was cool. Hopefully, I will have something done myself sometime soon. I have been quite busy myself.
You can tell Phil's a real fan of X-Men as well. Like he knows his stuff when it comes to
Yeah,
X-Men. So yeah, it's a great video. Go check it out. And it's really fun to learn a little bit as well, because I didn't even really think to me, I thought Rogue in a blue costume would just be like a artistic preference or some,
right.
you know how like back in the day when you'd get like the turtles on merchandise, for example,
Yeah,
and all the colors would be all over the place. And I'm not even talking about the blue on and the red and the yellow and the orange and the purple masks. I'm talking about like full on colors of everything be all over the place because they were just churning merchandise out. I just assumed that anytime we saw Rogue in blue would just be a print issue or a print, not error, but like,
but
hey, it's cheaper to
simplification.
do
Sometimes they
this.
need to simplify colors because
Right.
they can only afford X number of colors on
Exactly.
this uh, swimming pool toy or whatever it may be,
Right.
you
Right.
know. So and even sometimes in print, you know, things would end up being simplified uh, just for any given reason. But yeah, he definitely broke it down quite well.
It's great.
That's the stuff that I appreciate seeing.
Definitely.
And there's a lot of GI Joe stuff in there as well.
Yeah.
Articulated points.
He loves doing that. Yeah, so go check out Articulated Points, link in the description, and shout out to Phil. And of course, you, Pat, as well, for your
Thank you.
fantastic contributions to a wonderful channel. Also, massive shout out to Brian Sauer for our wonderful graphics. And I will stop on this for a few seconds and tell you that we are rebranding, and that will be going forward in Yojo June. So on the 1st of June, we'll reveal the new sort of branding, the new logos, the new everything. And then whatever episode we do first, you'll see all the new fancy graphics that we've got from courtesy of the wonderful Brian Sauer. We've been working on that for a while now, and we're really excited to do that. And we'll be looking to release some merch as well.
Oh
So
wow. Okay.
all to do. So yeah, we'll yeah, sorry, Pat, I probably should have told you about all of this. Yeah, so it's all merch with Pat's face on it. I haven't really got him to sign anything yet, so it's literally just Mirror Universe tap, it's Naked HD merchandise, it's all that kind of stuff. Do you remember them?
Oh yeah, I do remember then, but I didn't. I didn't have anything to do with that.
Of course you didn't. No, that's amazing. I love the fact that we got bots back then. That was so funny. Anyway, yeah, so thank you, Brian, for all our wonderful graphics, and you'll see the fruits of that labor very soon. Now, Codename Iowa, I've also revealed a little bit more for their assembly required attack on Cobra Island or assault on Cobra Island. I can't remember which one it is. It's attack, isn't it? But lots of kind of updates to make sure the Hilton Downtown Des Moines is available. The block discounted rooms, of course. So if get in there quick, because I'm not even sure how many more rooms they've actually got with that block. Good luck is all I would say on that one. Assault on Cobra Island. I was wrong. It is Assault on Cobra Island. That is the 14th and 15th of November, and they're doing a fans in command situation. So they are revealing over a time period different areas, locations each week, and then you will choose a command poll will go live, and you will be able to choose what 6 recruits you think are best equipped to accomplish the dangerous mission that will obviously cover all of those different sort of specialties. And they've been revealing these one by one. We've got the Eastern Beach. We have, and a little bit of information about it, we have Mindbender's Lab at the Terradrome, location 2. We have the Power Station Volcano at location 3. And we have the server farm and the freighter. Now, this was the most recent one, I believe, location 4. So there is a bit of a blurb to talk about. The critical information stored at Cobra's server farm could provide vast amounts of intel detailing current and future Cobra operations. Time for a hands-on data breach. The mission is simple. Sneak into the nerve center, swipe all the info, wipe the drives clean. I love that one of the hashtags is 404 error. That's amazing. Now, Pat, would you just send Snake Eyes in and call it a day, or are you choosing a team for this?
Oh, you put me on the spot again. I haven't chosen
I love
a
doing
team.
this. I love doing this.
It's, I guess that I would first look at that map of Cobra Island that the Classified series had. Compare it to some of the Marvel maps of Cobra Island that have come out over the years, and generate my plan based on the most obscure toys that exist. So
it's going to be Battle Corps Rangers, Ninja Commandos, that sort of thing.
It'll be like Beachhead, but it'll be the 93 one. He'll show up in his black vest, and I'll be like, get that thing off and get on the yellow one.
It's going to be
all there at Cobra Island.
It's going to be all the Fun School repaints of characters,
right? Yeah, like Cross Country will have shaved his mustache, and I'll be like, you got to paint one on, man.
Dude, that Cross Country Fun School figure is insane. Yeah, it's so good.
He reminded me of the Dunkin' Donuts guy for some reason.
It's so true. So true.
Time to make the donuts cross country.
Amazing. Well, anyway, there's going to be more information to come for that, of course. Operation Armor. Still no updates yet regarding Operation Armor, but we will. I just want to kind of keep you guys aware. We will have dates and, of course, pre-orders for the gear kits to come as well. So that's also happening. And Codename Iowa are going to be at Joe Fest. So you guys can catch the crew of Codename Iowa who put on the wonderful Armor and, of course, AR at Joe Fest. And, of course, they also say on there that you can, the dates to know on this one, the 16th of June was the final day for Joe Fest merchandise requests. And on the 20th to the 22nd, the Joe Fest booth will be open at Joe Fest, of course. So they're the dates to know for Codename Iowa. And the link in there, of course, codenameiowa.com/store. And obviously that's where you can, get stuck in with amazing merch that they have as well. So there you go. That's pretty much it for, I think, for AR and that kind of stuff. I just want a massive shout out to Word Burglar, who is going to be dropping a Kickstarter very soon where Word Burglar rhymes with comics. He's basically got in collaboration with a bunch of different artists to put together an amazing, basically a comic to accompany his music, which is amazing. I can't wait for this. I'll just want to go into some of the details if I go onto the Kickstarter landing page for that, which is on our social pages, of course. Now, the first issue will be coming soon to Kickstarter, an all-new lyrical rap, a graphical, I like the way that his words are amazing, mixtape comic book created by underground nerdcore legend Word Burglar and brought to life by an all-star roster of comic book talent from Marvel, DC, Image, IDW, Boom, Scholastic, and more, featuring a Kickstarter exclusive cover by Steve McNiven. Unbelievable. So this massive anthology is bringing Word Burglar songs to life the way they were meant to be seen, as comics. Rhyme along with these hilariously nerdy, fun and funky stories with a complete soundtrack included. So yeah, and the people involved is insane. Steve McNiven of Spider-Man, Civil War, Old Man Logan, Mike Holmes of Wings of Fire, Adventure Time, My Own World, Dave Howlett, the makers Slamorama, The Last Paper Route, James White, Signal Noise, Magic the Gathering, The Rocketeer, Jason Liu, Iron Man, Daredevil, Sentry. My goodness, Brenda Hickey, My Little Pony, Turnip King, Butterfly House. Troy Little, Rick and Morty versus Dungeons and Dragons, Fearing Loathing in Las Vegas, Radically Rearranged Ronin Ragdolls. Jason Sandberg of Jupiter. Whack, who does all that amazing Mask 86 comics. You know Whack, don't you, Pat? Don't you? I'm sure.
I don't think so.
Well, I do. He did an amazing Lightfoot, Night Force Lightfoot piece, and then tagged me in it. So thank you very much, Whack. Loved your work. Kelly Tyndall, Cody Peters, Danny Zabal, Andy Cottenham, Kalman Androsovsky, Brian Sauer, of course, who we've just mentioned already, and also Hot Rod of the Cybertronic Spree. There's a lot of people involved in this, and it's going to be amazing. And that's coming in June of 2025. So Yojo June is going to get even more fun with Word Burglar rhyming with comics. We will obviously post, keep you up to date with any information that comes out, but you can find the link on our socials and you can click on that to be notified on launch. Amazing stuff. So I cannot wait for that. Big shout out to Word Burglar. You're the man. And you know it's going to be good, Pat, because you've seen him live.
Yes, it was amazing. It was really good. I enjoyed seeing him live. Hopefully I get the chance to see him again live.
Yeah, with me in the background waving around like an idiot. Amazing stuff, Words. Can't wait for that, mate. Also, massive shout out to Skeletron.com. You can get a RoboSkull Mark II right now, available at Skeletron.com. Go do it. And also, it's Kickley Corner. We've got a Zarana, and we've got John Wick and Storm Shadow.
Oh, wow, that's awesome. Yeah,
neat, isn't it?
Yet.
These are neat. So yeah, we've got Zarana joining the team, and now we've got a really cool commission. I think this was for a commission that he was asked to do with John Wick and Storm Shadow.
That's
I love
a very John Wick pose, isn't it?
Yeah,
it really is him,
big time. And also firing his pistol.
Well, that's what I mean. Just the way that he's holding the pistol looks like John Wick.
Yeah, sort of like big time. It's so good. And of course, he did these beauties as well. The Action Soldier and Action Marine, which
those are nice.
Aren't they good?
Yeah,
I love these. Do you know what? I'm tempted to get something like that and then frame it because they look so cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's everything. There you go. Thanks very much for joining us, Pat. Thank you, mate, so much for jumping on, dude. Finally, good to have you back.
It is fun to be back. Yeah, I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it was kind of,
as always.
It's kind of weird that you weren't on for the longest time, and it was just literally, I can't do Saturday. Not you, me. Then I couldn't do Saturday again, and then you couldn't do it. No, it was me couldn't do it, you couldn't do it, I couldn't do it.
I thought we had an overlap. There was one that was kind of bad for me, and it's like, no, with a stretch I can make it, and then you were like, well, I can't.
And then I couldn't. Yeah, basically.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, that actually takes some stress off my back. Thank you. It's a difficult month.
No, I get it, mate. And it's just nice to have you back, and good to get a weekly out. Like I said, once we've got all of the other, we've got lots going on at the moment in terms of like all the prep for the new rebrand and all that kind of jazz. As soon as all the work's done for that, I'll be hitting your screens a lot more regularly. And like I said, look out for Justin Bell and myself chatting Snake Eyes computer game as well as hopefully this week, if not next week. Anyway. Dude, thank you so much for this one. Thanks to everyone in the chat, all the patrons and everything. For the patron stuff, I'm not sure if it'll be today or tomorrow, but it'll be one of those 2 days. I'll try and keep you informed, but we'll do our usual weekly thing on the Patreon. See you on the next one, and stay fresh, cheese bags. Nearly forgot to say it then. And as always, after 3, what do you remember? Do you remember what to do, Pat?
I'll try to remember. It's been a while, and I am getting old.
Okay, 1, 2, 3,
full force.
Later. Make sure you get involved with the discussion by liking, sharing, and commenting on these videos. And as always, you can keep up with the show after listening by following on all of our social platforms, links in the description. And if you would like to contact the show, you can message us on any of those platforms with feedback or questions. We also have a Patreon page, so if you want to show your support for the show, see your name up in lights on these videos, or enjoy exclusive bonus content, then check out patreon.com/The Full Force Podcast, or click the link on any of the posts this podcast appears in. Full Force.